All right, welcome to West Coast Creative Studio, Natalie. Let's start with a little introduction, who you are and what you do.
Thank you for having me. My name is Natalie, and I'm here because I'm a social media influencer.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
So you're a social media influencer. What kind of influencer are you? Can you go a little bit more in depth on what kind of influencing you do, what kind of industry you're in?
Yeah, I mostly my focus is on fashion. So the basic is I put outfits on and I create little videos and I share them with others, and then they're able to purchase things that I'm wearing through my account.
Okay, and what's your Instagram account? You want to plug that real quick?
Sure. Where am I looking?
Your camera's over here.
Okay. Follow at Glam Girl Natalie for fashion tips and occasional funny videos.
There you go. Awesome.
You might even see this guy in one of them.
Yeah, we've definitely collaborated a few times.
Yeah.
It's been a lot of fun. So let's get into it real quick. How long have you been doing this social media influencing?
Oh gosh. So I started in September of last year. So it's been like a little over 6 months.
Okay, wow, 6 months. And how many followers did you have when you started doing this?
I had, gosh, not very many, like a couple hundred probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then where are you at now?
I think I'm like at 4444.
Wow.
So 4,444. Yeah.
Lucky number 4.
Lucky number 4.
Wow. So you've
I kind of wanted to
grown.
stay that way, you know?
No, you don't. You want to get a 10K, you know?
Yeah.
You definitely want to get a 10K. Wow.
Is
So
10K the magic number?
I don't know.
What's
I
the
think
magic
so.
number? Yeah.
I think
Did you know there's influencer levels?
Yeah.
There's
for
like,
sure.
I think I'm considered a nano influencer.
Nano.
And there's this like micro influencer and I guess macro. I don't know. There's levels, but I'm not at the big times yet.
Well, once you get to the 10K mark, right? Like
Yeah.
it just turns into 10K.
Yes.
Like there's not like numbers anymore.
Yeah, I know. That's so
having a K on
exciting.
your Instagram thing would be pretty cool, right?
That would be cool.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I think my goal is to have 10K eventually, but I'm still stuck in the 3,000s.
Yeah.
So I think you have to help me somehow to grow my Instagram. But you do a lot of fashion stuff. But what other type of content you think you would want to create as far as like the social media stuff?
Well, I think that I would like to help others, like yourself.
Yes, I need the help.
That may be struggling with growth.
I'm struggling.
Yeah,
with growth.
it's really tough. It's so much work, I will say, and there's a lot of strategy involved. And I'm constantly like following the experts in the field to learn what different types of things you can do to grow your following. And then sometimes I feel like I'm doing it all, but I'm still not seeing any growth. So there's like a lot of patience involved and just trusting the process and trusting that it's going to happen. And then I also think that you just never know when some video or some post is going to just take off. So just keep doing what you're doing. Be consistent is kind of what I've been doing. And hope for the best, I guess.
Yeah. Well, you're saying that you are not growing, but within 6 months, you already have up to 4,444 followers. That's insane. That's pretty good growth if you ask me. I've been doing this for trying to grow my account for over 10 years now, and I'm still stuck on the 3,000. So you're doing something right. Can you share a little bit of like what type of stuff you're doing?
So I think I already said be consistent, posting every day. I do that every day. Engagement is super important. So I make sure to engage with my followers. There's like a formula that I follow daily, which is engage first. So like and comment on people's posts. I spend a good like 10 to 15 minutes on that every morning. And then I post something. And that's what, again, like I've learned this because I've been researching and following other people who are doing things right on social media. So that's always kind of the rule is like engage first, post, and then engage after you post.
Got it.
So that's something I do. And there's all these little like tricks, save your post, share your post, don't do this. But it kind of like if you start to do a lot of research, you'll go crazy because it's like, how much more can I do?
Yeah.
I don't think I can do much more. And you're not sure if it's even working. So it's like, what's the point of doing all of these things?
Yeah. Whatever I do,
jumping through hoops.
Whatever I do, I sometimes I don't think it's working because I don't see any growth. But yeah, you're right. It takes a lot of work, a lot of time and effort to be able to grow your account, right?
So in terms of engagement, one thing that can be a challenge is that the platform itself can limit you, which is so frustrating. It's like, hello, this is social media. The point is to be social, but they stop you. So what happens is, like I told you, every morning I go on, like that's my routine. I go on and I comment and I like people's posts. And for whatever reason, because of like, Instagram's AI, they're like, oh, Glam Girl Natalie must be a bot because of the number of times she commented and posts in like a short period of time. So what they do is they'll basically like block you for that day. They'll send you a little warning message that says something like, Instagram has to protect the community users and you're commenting too much. We have to limit the number of comments. So once you get that message, you can no longer comment for the rest of the day.
Wow. So you just go to Instagram jail?
Yeah. Instagram jail.
Oh my God.
Instagram jail. It's a sad place to be.
Yeah. So how long does that last?
You know what's crazy is this hasn't happened to me yet, but some people get a message and it says how long their sentence is. It's like, you are going to be in jail for 7 days. Literally, like they cannot comment for a week and it will tell them that. I'm like, wow, mine is usually just we're limiting your posts, your comments for the day, and then it'll go away by that night or the next day. But yeah, it's crazy. TikTok does it too, but not as much. Instagram, wow, they're even flagging the comments that I post, which to me, it doesn't make any sense because the things I'm posting, they're not offensive. I'm not saying anything crazy. Like the other day, someone I follow posted that she hit 1,000 followers. So I wanted to congratulate her. And I said, yay, congrats on 1K, something like that. And they immediately flagged it and removed the comment. And they said that it, violated their community guidelines.
Man, that's so unmotivating to have that happen to you because you're just there trying to engage and trying to, grow your social media following and they do that. That's not fun. But what would you tell someone that's trying to pursue this, right? The social media influencing, what would you tell someone, how would they get started?
So you can do it my way, which is just like jump in, or you could do your research. And I mean, there's so much out there. So like tons of videos you could watch on YouTube or, one of the social media platforms. I guess my advice would be follow someone who's doing what you want to do. So whether it's I want to be a fashion influencer or I want to be a video creator or I want to open my own studio or whatever, find someone who inspires you and follow them and see how they're doing things. Learn from them. And that's helped me a lot. So that's awesome. My advice.
Because then at this point, there's people that can follow you and learn from you. And learn from all the mistakes you've made, the things that you've learned throughout your journey and your 6 months of growth. So what's the future for Natalie Glam? What do you think you're going to do with this following and this? What are your goals?
Well, now that I've done my first podcast, maybe it's start a podcast. I don't know. I love this. It's kind of like become an addiction. I love creating content and I just want to do more of it. So I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing and hope for the best, hope to gain more followers. Don't forget to follow and work with more brands and hopefully monetize. That would be great.
Yeah. I think that's the biggest goal, right? To monetize your content. I think it's one of the biggest things. Podcasting, right? Would you ever start a podcast?
Honestly, I had not thought about it, but I think it could be fun. I think if I did start a podcast, it would be more about educating people, talking about exactly what we've been talking about today. Is like, I want to grow or I want to start. Where do I begin? I'd love to create a podcast like that where I can help others who are considering doing this.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, I think that'd be great. A podcast about educating people on social media, right?
Yeah.
And what to do, the right things, the wrong things. So, if you were to start up a podcast, hypothetically, what would it be called?
Yikes. Putting me on the spot. Maybe something with glam, like glam talk or get glam.
Get Glam.
Get
Okay.
glam with Natalie. I
I
don't
like
know.
that.
But I wouldn't just focus on fashion. Definitely not. I would, like I said, I'd like to help other people because I feel like social media is so crucial to so many different types of businesses. And in fact, a lot of my friends have already asked me for help and I've helped them. And it's been like nothing related to what I'm doing. I have a friend who is starting a food truck business with her husband. And she was like, I need your help. I don't know anything about social media. And then some other friends of ours, like one has a meal service, one is an actor. There's like everybody could use social media in some way to help them with their industry. So I believe that this is valuable. I think there's value in social media. I also don't love, I think we talked about that earlier. I don't love everything about social media, but I think if you use it as a tool, it can be really helpful.
Yeah, definitely very helpful. I think creating content is one of the biggest things you can do for yourself if you want to grow as a person, grow a business. Like, I think video is definitely the top of the list for everyone. So start a podcast. Come check out West Coast Creative Studio and shoot some content or make your own podcast.
So what would you call your podcast?
Man, well, this is, I guess, my podcast. You're on my podcast
Yeah.
right now.
So what am I on? What's the show called?
This is the first podcast for The Good Talk.
The Good Talk.
Yeah, maybe The Good Talk or maybe just Good Talk. What do you think?
The Good Talk? I like that. The Good
With
Talk. The
okay, with The Good Talk. Okay. Yeah.
on The Good Talk.
Yeah, welcome to The Good Talk. First episode right here. But no, I think podcasting is really cool. It's like something that is brand new. And even though people do say that is saturated and there's a lot of people doing podcasts, which is true, there's a lot of people doing podcasts. But I think podcasts are going to be the new horizon for the future, for the future of media. The fact that anyone can just start a podcast and voice their thoughts and educate people, right? Like nowadays, you could just find content and learn anything you want via a podcast or a YouTube video. So I think like a single person like media is going to be super valuable going forward in the future.
Yeah.
And like you said, you can educate people through a podcast. And I think that's super valuable because people can go and on your podcast, listen to you and learn whatever you're teaching them, right? So I think podcasting's not saturated, and I think everyone should have a podcast, and they should film it here at West Coast Creative Studio. We're open for business.
What you said is another reason why I really
What did I
love
say?
all of this. Like just the fact that you can do anything nowadays versus before. Like if you weren't in the entertainment industry, you were not going to be on TV, right? Like you were not going to be on the radio. But now you're seeing artists, average people, whatever, becoming like super, super famous. And they're just the average Joe, like there's a girl whose music I really like, and she was posting her music on social media, and then she performed at Coachella. Like it's just so cool that you don't even have to have a record label or like be signed somewhere, and you could become super famous. It's kind of cool. And same with YouTube, like you could be a YouTube star, you could be a fashion influencer, whatever, and you don't have to have a professional background in any of it. It's just a matter of believing in yourself, believing that you can do something and just jumping in and doing it.
Yeah, I think that's really cool that everyone has that opportunity. That's equal opportunity, right? To basically go on the internet and create their own content, like whatever it is they want to do. I mean, you don't even have to do a podcast in a podcast studio, right? You could start your own podcast at home. You could do it anywhere, really. But the key into starting a podcast is to staying consistent and, giving your audience like something to watch, either if it's like one episode a week or maybe like every 2 weeks, 2 episodes a week, whatever it is, right? Maybe even 1 episode a month, as long as you're consistently putting out that content. And then within that podcast episode, you can basically get clips, right? And create short form content as well. So it's just, I think just content in general is just like a big thing. And it's like the most valuable thing, basically right now for anyone.
Yeah.
Especially if you're trying to grow on social media, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think creating content and having conversations like this with different people are is really cool to have.
So what would the good talk look like?
I think the good talk would be about just creators and their backgrounds and what makes them want to be a creator and what are they passionate about. I think that's my vision of the Good Talk podcast. Yeah, I really would like to learn more about like different types of creators, like different types of like producers and just artists in general, right? Because every artist nowadays wants to have a social media presence. That's just kind of like the world we live in now. If you're an artist, music artist, or you're a painter or any type of artist, you definitely want to be on social media and have a voice and basically create that narrative for yourself. Because like you said, you don't need a third party person to help you do that anymore. Like you can do it on your own through your own social media stuff. So I think the Good Talk podcast would have just different types of creators and basically learn about their background and how they create, why they create, and just really learn about them.
It's interesting you said that. The friend that I was just talking to, who's in the entertainment industry, was telling me that he has lost out on parts because of his social media. He's like, I only have 11K followers, and then the person who's up against me has 100,000. They're gonna get the part.
Yeah, it's crazy how social media influences like.
Yeah, it has a lot of power today.
It does have a lot of power, which is kind of a good thing and a bad thing, right? Because you could be so talented in certain things, but if you have like 3,000 followers, then it's like people look at that and they see that as like, well, no, someone might want to work with another video producer because they have more followers. Let's say they see my account, they see my work, they like my work, but then they see someone else and they have like 50,000 followers, right? That do the same similar kind of work. They'll probably go with them just because it just kind of, I don't know, it's just a thing in people's brains. The more following they have, it validates them for some reason, right?
Well,
which is why I need to get 10K. Follow me on Instagram, zeus.dom. 10K, the road to 10K. You gotta help me, Natalie.
Gosh, I gotta get there first. But you know what's unfortunate is some people buy their followers, and there's like a lot of fake accounts too. It's like you don't even know what to trust anymore, and it's unfair. It's like I'm working hard to get my followers, and this person bought them, and they're already at 10K. But
I think that having a big following is not as important as the engagement.
Yes.
And the comments and just like the shares. I think that's what's more important nowadays than having like 100,000 followers. If you have 100,000 followers, but you don't have any engagement, then that's not as valuable, I think.
Yeah. But I remember what I wanted to say is like you were saying but that's the problem. Somebody makes a snap judgment when they're looking at you, right? At your account. And they're going to pick the bigger account over yours to work with because they're thinking, how is this person going to benefit me? Well, if you're collaborating them with whatever, they're going to have 50,000 eyes on them versus you're going to have 3. So it puts us in a tough
3?
spot.
Yeah,
3,000.
I'm like, I'm only going to have 3 people watching my stuff.
No, 3,000 versus like 50,000.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Well, thank you for coming to the studio, Natalie, and to the first podcast. I hope you enjoyed having this talk with me. And maybe we should do another episode on maybe get more in depth on maybe TikTok and different strategies.
Yes. We'll save TikTok for part 2.
Let's do it.
Episode 2.
Alrighty. Well, thanks for coming.
Thanks for having
Make sure to follow,
me.
subscribe, and everything to trick the algorithm.
Follow us.
Yeah, follow us.